All right, it's Saturday and we're back at the Rusty Beauties shop again. Elin's working on the overdrive transmission. He's doing a video on that. In the meantime, he's just about to machine a piece for it. So I figured, well, while he's machining stuff, I can be busy doing other stuff. So we've pulled out the paint project over here, and we're getting to the point where we need to start deciding what we're going to do as far as refinishing this car. So I definitely want to take the rack off and the lettering and the badging off the rear here, because we're going to have to give this a good wash at some point and figure out what we're going to do. I was telling Elin, I've been doing some research on how people go about doing patina on their cars, and there's a bunch of different options, from washing this car with Comet or Ajax to washing it with CLR to washing it with SOS pads, steel wool. So we've got to figure out what we're going to do as far as our next steps. We definitely know we need to do something here on the rear. I actually like how this rust has sort of streaked off of the rack. I kind of like that. You like that? What? This rusty bit coming off the rack. That's right up your alley. So I don't know if we'll be able to maintain that. I doubt we will once we wash this trunk lid, although it'll probably re-rust like that. You like this, right? Yeah. Yeah, I figured you would. So I think that'll end up getting washed off, I think, when we wash this trunk lid, but it'll probably quickly redo that, which is probably a good thing. Yeah. Or we could actually probably accelerate that by doing some vinegar, what is it? Vinegar, salt, and can't remember what the other thing is, but you can actually accelerate the rust on it. So
yeah, but that's on bare metal, not over the paint.
Oh, no, I'm saying we could probably do it here, and it would rust off here and drip down here.
Yeah. Anyway.
We'll figure something out. Regardless, I know I need to take the rack off and the lettering off, and well, I don't technically need to, but I'm going to, so we can do this properly. So that's what I'm going to do now while Elin is working on the lathe. All right, the sun decided to come out for a few minutes, so I figured we'll continue on with the project. So we decided we're going to do the Comet wash on the rear of the car here. So we have the Comet. We've got a scrubby. This is a non-aggressive one, so it's like a non-scratch one. We've got some Dawn dish liquid, and we've got our little sprayer here. So we're just going to wet this down, and we're going to use a little bit of Comet and on the sponge and on the panel in general, and we're just going to rub it gently to get rid of all this old dirt and oxidation that's on this panel. We'll bring you back when it's done. I might even try to blend this in a little bit here. We'll see. Again, this is not completely dry, so I think I'm going to try to stay away from this for the moment and just worry about cleaning the areas that need to be cleaned on the rear of this trunk. All right, we'll come back. All right, it's coming up pretty nicely. Here's half the trunk done. It does highlight a little bit of the white coming through, which is what we're looking for. And obviously cleaning off all those years of oxidation and gunk off the trunk. It's also cleaning off this rust here, which I would have liked to have kept, but like I said, that will probably reappear in short order anyway. So here's what we're using, just the Comet and the non-scrub or non-scratch pad. You could get more aggressive if you wanted to remove some more paint, but we just have the non-scratch kind at the moment, so that seems to be doing the trick. Anyway, we'll continue on finishing cleaning up this trunk. All right, that definitely looks a little bit better in my mind anyway. So cleaned up nicely. So wanted to do that just to get, so I can get a clear idea of what the paint underneath looks like before I start blending or trying to blend in those other areas. So I wanted to get this area clean, because I definitely want to start at the rear of the car. I think that'll be easier to do the patina on the rear of the car, because these areas back in here would be a candidate to have some patina to them, to some sun damage, for instance, on these high peaks here in the back. So I should be able to bring out that white here. The challenge is going to be on the areas where it normally wouldn't patina or wouldn't see a lot of sun. So probably below this trim area here, there probably wouldn't be a lot of patina. There'd probably be still some original paint on there. But we'll have to do what we can do to blend that in with the original paint below it. So anyway, I guess that's it for now. We'll let this car dry out here, and then we'll come back another day and break out the wet sandpaper and go a little bit more aggressive in order to blend that paint. All right, next thing I want to do is I want to try to get rid of this primer here, and I want to try to preserve the paint below this line. So we want to try to clean this fender up a little bit. So I've got some 1500 grit, and a block and some soapy water. And we're just going to try to sand this, not to get rid of the paint below it, but just to get to the paint, just to clean up that primer, because we want to try to maintain that color below this line here as much as possible. So we'll just go ahead and we'll try to do that now without disturbing the bottom layer of paint too much. All right, we've been sanding on it for a little while, and I think it's actually coming out not bad. It's kind of the look we're going for. You can see where we kind of blended it there at that line, and you know what? I think it's looking okay. So we need to carry that theme kind of towards the front of the car as we go along, and I think it'll look okay. Elin thinks it might be a little bit too much white there, but I don't know. We'll see when we have it completely done, whether we want to go back and throw a little bit more red in there or not. But anyway, I think it's looking pretty good so far. All right, Sunday morning, and back on the TR4 project, the 62 TR4 project. And we're kind of working our way forward with the patina. So we're going to work across the the door at the moment. We're not quite sure what we're going to do about this bright red area here, but we'll do our best to make that blend in somehow. And I've just done a comet wash on the door. We still need to comet wash the front fender, but we'll work on the door first, and then, like I said, we'll work our way forward before we start moving around to the other side of the car. I did do a little bit of sanding over here yesterday, but not much, just on this back corner. So once we get the look we're looking for on the driver's side, we'll move over here to the passenger side. We're only going to be out here for a couple hours today. It's going to be a hot day today, so we'll spend the early morning. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. We'll do a few hours out here before we give up when it gets too hot this afternoon. All right, we spent a couple hours out here. It's now 11 a.m. and it's starting to get very hot out, so I think we're going to call it a day out here. But as you can see, we did pretty good on getting the driver's side of the car done and the bonnet. So I didn't touch the bonnet at all. We just basically gave it a comet wash, and that was it. That's how the bonnet came up. So we're just going to leave it exactly as it is, so it matches kind of the rest of the car. We are going to have to do a little bit of sanding on these areas here where the paint is chipping, just to that's more of a chip, just to smooth that out before we go to like I said, we're thinking of clear coating this. There was discussion about linseed oil or clear coat. I think clear coat in the long run is going to obviously be more longevity for this car. With linseed oil, you pretty much need to reapply it every couple of months, so don't know if I want to get into that. Anyway, like I said, it's I think looking okay. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and it's not expected to be. We're just doing this for us. We're doing what makes us happy. So I think it looks pretty good. We'll do a little bit of, we haven't done anything really much on the trunk. This is natural patina, these two areas here. We'll gonna blend it a little bit more obviously on this side, and we haven't done anything with this side as far as trying to blend all of this in over here. I think it'll actually probably be a little easier on this side, particularly because we don't have that big panel that we repaired down here, which is really hard to blend because there was basically nothing under it. It just rust. So I should be able to bring most of that original paint back from under that red paint to make this area look a little bit more blended than the other side. And of course the top area here, we've actually left quite a bit of the original patina back here. You can see it all cracking. So we'll see what that looks like when we start to reveal what's underneath that. But yeah, it's coming along. Still need to do our repairs down there. Elin and I were just talking about that earlier. But yeah, I think it's coming out okay. All right, that's it. We'll put it back in the barn for today, and we'll get back out here probably tomorrow, depending on what the weather's like. It might be raining tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. I think it was supposed to rain today, but it's absolutely beautiful. So the weathermen are full of shit. Yes, I said shit. Talk to you later. All right, first day of my days off, and I'm at the Rusty Beauty shop, and we're in the middle of a thunderstorm. I think it's supposed to rain for the next 4 days. Great. Not much progress being done on the TR4 when it's raining. So, guess we'll just wait till it stops raining. All right, 7:30 p.m. back at the Rusty Beauty shop, and I thought I'd come back and do a little bit more work tonight as it's not too bad of a night. So wanted to get a few things done. I've decided to change the top color paint that you've seen previously. The, what was it called? Apple red was too bright. So what I've done is I've gone and I've purchased another Rust-Oleum product, more befitting of the actual color. This one is called Colonial Red. And you can probably see on this side, I've already done this morning. It's much closer to the color match than the apple red was. So we're going to work with this, which meant basically that I had to redo what I had done previously on the other side here. So I've already redone this area. Now I've had to go back down, scratch off what I'd painted before. We'll do a quick white coat under here and here on the nose, and then we'll top it with the Colonial Red. Let this dry overnight and come back and start doing our patina job on this side, and it should blend into the existing paint color a little bit better. I haven't done the Comet wash on this side, as you can probably tell. So once we do the Comet wash, it should look okay and blend together a little bit better. So anyway, wasn't happy with the apple red, as it was really standing out. And I think this Colonial Red's going to be much better. So I bit the bullet and undid a bunch of the work that I'd already done. But it's only a few hours extra and probably 14 bucks for an extra can of paint. So no big deal. All right, we'll go ahead and we'll do a little bit of white in that area first, and then we'll come back with a Colonial Red. Let it dry overnight, come back tomorrow. All right, we have the passenger side now all resprayed. So we'll let this dry overnight. And hopefully we can work on it tomorrow. If it's not raining, we'll come back and we'll do some sand throughs and get it looking like the driver's side does. So that's really what I wanted to do tonight, because I got to obviously let it dry before we start sanding on it. Otherwise it'll just ball up on the sandpaper and not come off. So anyway, so we're going to call it a night out here, getting eaten by the mosquitoes. But yeah, so we'll plan to be out here tomorrow if it's not raining again. All right, Tuesday morning, and it's not a great day. It's currently not raining. It was raining this morning. You can see probably the ground is still wet. It was kind of misting on the way here, so might be one of those days where you have to push the car back in and back out. And anyway, we're going to try to work on it as much as possible. Elin has got a wire brush on a drill, or on a grinder, and we're going to try to address this little rusty piece along the top of the sill and figure out what's going on here in the past. It's kind of separating here, so we're probably wanting to do a little bit more than Bondo there if possible. We're going to try to maybe weld a piece in there to solidify that area. In the meantime, while he's doing that, I'm going to continue working on the faux patina, and I think I'll set you up on a tripod at some point, and I'll show you. I'll finish this side, and then I'll probably move to the other side, and I'll set up a tripod to show you the process that I'm doing to get the look that I'm getting on the driver's side. So that's it for now. So hopefully the rain will stay away, and we can continue working on this for most of the morning at least. All right, I'll try and set you up on the tripod on this side so you can see what we're up to. So obviously we've got the panel prepped with the primer, and then the white coat, and then the red coat on top of that. And we're just about to start to try to reveal some of the white coat and some of the primer that's underneath. So this is what that looks like when it's done. And if you recall from some of the first parts of the video, it already had some natural patina along this area here. And I basically repaired this area, so I had to sort of recreate that. Kind of look like this area, more or less. That's original to the car. So we've got our materials ready over here to work with. So what I'm using, basically, I've got a DA with 240 grit disc on it. I've also got some 400 grit standing by here just on a soft block. I've got a little bit of 80 grit if I want to go really coarse on the grit, but then of course I want to sand that out a lot more finer so you don't see the scratches. Then we're using some Scotch-Brites. I've got a gray and a maroon Scotch-Brite here as well to blend things in a little bit more. And again, just just a whole bunch of different grits of sandpaper. So 240, I think this is. Let me just check this real quick. Yeah, so this is 240, this is 400. I've also got 240 for the DA down there standing by. So generally what I'll do is I'll just sort of run a DA across it and sort of remove some of the paint in the areas where I want to work. And then I'll kind of work on enhancing that area. So that's what I'll generally do first, is just try to get through the top layer of paint and just expose a little bit of the white and then sort of blend that out a little bit further. Anyway, first time I've done this, so there's really no correct way to do this. And anyway, you can follow along and see what I'm doing. I don't know how educational it'll be, but at least you'll see what I'm doing as far as trying to recreate some faux patina on this car. All right, before I set you up on the tripod to watch me, Lynn's bent up this little angle iron for this little repair area that he's going to weld in here to solidify that area. So that's looking really good. Anyway, let me set up on the tripod and we'll get to sanding. Let's take a quick look at what's going on over here. So that's looking better. It's got it cut out nicely, and he's got his repair strip there. So now he's got to weld that in. Actually, the insides of the sills don't look too bad, do they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's looking not too bad. Anyway, here is the result of that. I think it was close to 30 minutes of sanding on this rear. So it's kind of what we're going for. We did a bit of a, tried to do a little bit of a match here on this area against this area, which was natural. So same here. This was kind of natural patina up here on this flat part of the deck. So we tried to do a little bit here. We may actually want to do a little bit more up in here. I'm going to try to get rid of these scratches up here. So maybe introduce a bit more white up in here. But it doesn't look too bad. So the plan is now, and I've showed you this on a previous video, but I'll show you probably in a little video segment. So I'm going to do a Comet wash. So, you know, if you're familiar with Comet, household cleanser, we're going to actually wash this whole side of the car down with Comet to get rid of all that chalkiness that's from the original paint work. And that'll also help to blend in the new paint, make it a little less glossy. So anyway, I'm going to continue my way up the car. We'll do the door next, which is probably the easiest because it's the original paint and it's pretty thin. You can see it's starting to wear through here in areas already. So it's fairly easy to get through here. It's just the new paint. It's not completely dry. Again, we've had really high humidity, so it's having trouble drying. So it's tending to ball up a little bit on the sandpaper as we're trying to sand through it. I didn't try to do too many coats here at the front, just one single coat. It is still a little difficult to get back down to where you need to be for that patina look. Anyway, we'll continue on. All right, let's go ahead and do the door tops. Kind of like Batman here on a little bit of an angle. Oh well. All right, let's take a quick look. I've got the nose to do still, but we've got the rear quarter, the door, and the front quarter almost done. So I think it's coming along not too bad. I wish I had some primer in this door. Looks like it might have been a black primer in this door, but I've sanded it down quite far. Can't get to the primer layer, so I'm not sure that I want to go any further. So looking not too bad. So we'll do this nose piece, and then we'll do a few touch-ups here and there where I'm not happy. And then we're probably going to look at repairing the bottom here later on today. I also have another project going on where I've been working on the trunk a little bit. So we're going to bed liner the trunk at least where the spare sits. So that'll be a little bit later today as well, hopefully. Again, we have limited time to be out here today, but we'll do what we can do while it's still not raining. Actually the sun came out there and got very hot there for a minute. Yeah. Too hot. Yeah. We're complaining it's too hot. All right, let's finish off the nose. All right, I'm going to do a Comet wash now. So try to blend that door in a little bit and get some of that chalkiness out of it. So let's break out the water and the scouring sponge and the Comet, and we'll go to town on this side of the car. Looks like we're getting ready for a downpour, so I think we're going to call it done to this point. I do want to do a little bit more sanding, like this area down here on top of just where the bumper is. That should have a little bit of destruction going on there, so we're going to touch a few areas up like that I missed initially. But for the most part, I think it looks pretty good. Again, this side here, I just wanted to give you a quick shot of Elin's welding job here. It looks great, fantastic. So This side looks pretty good. Again, we'll do a little bit of a wash here on this side. It has been done once, but it can be done again. I haven't done it since I've done the rest of the sanding here, so we'll blend that a bit more. Obviously up the front here, you can probably see where it didn't get washed, and there's a bit of a halo there. Anyway, I think it's looking good. It's turning out the way I want it to look, so I guess that's all that's important. Well, the way I want it to look, and I think Elin's happy with it, so I guess we'll call it a video here, since we're gonna have to put it back in the barn shortly. I think we got enough to at least show you the faux patina for the most part. Again, it's not completely finished. There'll be a few more detail areas to sand. I guess the next video will probably be the repairs here on the bottom. Front wings here, those need to be done next. And then eventually this car will be clear coated. So maybe within the next, I don't know, we'll see if we can get it done within the next week or so. But we'll have to wait for a little bit better weather to do that. The plan is to do the clear coat outside here in the natural environment. We may actually do it in the shed and move the Spitfire out and the bike that's in there and have a little bit better chance of, you know, not getting tree limbs and leaves and bugs and stuff falling on it. But we don't really care too much, but we just want to protect our patina. So I think that's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting, and thanks for subscribing. And we will see you on the next video. Thanks for welding. You're going to do the body work on that now, right?
Yeah, definitely. You're the body man.
All right, the welding guy is handing it over to the body guy. So anyway, we'll pick it up on the next video.